Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girlz. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here are your supernatural hosts, Patricia Baker and Becky Andreasson. Supernatural Girlz.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girlz. I am your host, Patricia Baker, and I am here with the one and only Becky Andreasson. Becky, welcome back.
Thank you. Hi, Patricia, and hi, everybody.
Oh, so exciting to have you back on the show, Becky.
Yes, I know. Well, we have an exciting show tonight. My
Don't
goodness.
We know?
Yes.
This is going to be epic. I just have that feeling. It's a great book these ladies have written. And, Becky, you are in your element with being an abductee yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, your mom's book is selling great again, The Andreasson Affair. It's now available. It's being reprinted by New Page Books, and it's another hit all over again so many years later. People just can't get enough of these alien abduction stories.
Well, they're fascinating. I mean, we're dealing with, you know, still, to most people, the unknown.
It is the unknown, and this book really raises a lot of questions and answers some in a totally different way. And the authors, my goodness, we have Kathleen Marden and Denise Stoner. They're both experts in this field. So I just can't wait to get them here with us. Now, also, I need to mention that not only are you a famous abductee and your mother, but Kathleen Marden is the niece of Betty and Barney Hill, who another couple of famous abductees whose story just went worldwide. And my goodness, and then we have Denise Stoner joining us, the other author of the book, who has spent more than 20 years researching alien abduction phenomena and is herself an abductee. My God, we got a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes.
But first I have to mention, I'm absolutely freezing up here in New England.
I know. Are you buried up there? I seen that on TV.
You know, it's kind of strange because yesterday it rained all day long, and then today we had some rain, and then it turned to snow. It's not a lot, but it's the kind of bone-chilling cold. You know, it goes right through you.
Oh.
So I don't know. Maybe I'd rather be in a nice warm spaceship. I'm not sure. So.
Be careful what you ask for.
I know. I better be careful. That's right. Oh, my goodness. Well, first and foremost, I'm so glad you're feeling so great. You sound terrific. And I know you're almost completely 100% healed. Congratulations.
Yes, and thank you to everyone for their prayers and sending me their healing energy, their gifts, because I've received it from everyone. And I'll tell you, you know, it's you call it a miracle because that's truly what it is.
That's
truly.
Right.
I mean, you know, I feel it. It comes. My spirit body absorbs it and right into my physical body. And, I mean, that is such a blessing and love from everyone. It is wonderful. It's wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone out there.
You are so welcome, Becky. You're an inspiration to all of us. And, again, so happy that you're feeling so well and sounding so great. And here you are in your element, again, as co-host of Supernatural Girlz and talking about one of your favorite subjects. So life couldn't be better.
That's right. A lifetime of it.
That's right. So we have a lot to talk about, but first and foremost, we need to talk to Patricia Kirkman, our world-famous numerologist. Hi, Patricia.
Hi,
Good
Patricia.
evening. It's wonderful to be on the show with two such lovely ladies.
Oh,
well,
thank
you. And you've been investigating two interesting names. Becky's mother's name, Betty Andreasson, but it was a little different when she was born, and also Betty Hill. And looking at the numbers of these two abductees, what did you find?
Well, you know, the similarity between the two, both are extremely sensitive. Neither has a big ego. They're just very down to earth, very slow to absorb what's going on around them because they're not into the ego or trying to put themselves out there. They're just part of looking at things to make other people feel better. Both are overly sensitive, and that sensitivity doesn't mean that they're sensitive necessarily in a point where, oh, my feelings got hurt. It's not like that. The sensitivity that they have, it's like when we have a gift, we can touch something, and it's almost like it goes through us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's like touching silk sometimes, that feeling that both are extremely sensitive people.
Isn't that interesting? That's similar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It sounds like Mom.
It does sound like your mom, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that sensitivity, the need to be needed. Both are very spiritual, not necessarily, shall we say, at church type. Does that make sense?
Yes, they live it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's how they represent themselves.
Yes.
It's almost like you open a book and everything's right there. It all unfolds. These little children's book you open up, the whole city pops up. Well, that's how these two ladies are within themselves. What they do and how they project themselves, it's like opening up this pop-up book. Everything just pops out. It's there for everyone to partake of or be a part of. Very
That's fascinating.
Gentle they
so
are.
in their similarities, do you see anything that points to how this abduction experience came to both of them?
I can't pick up a something specific where that is concerned, but I'm drawn towards the fact that both are ultra-sensitive people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to come down and look for someone to work with or understand what we're all about, wouldn't you want to choose people that are extremely sensitive and considerate and caring for the world at large?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's the common field here.
Wow.
They both are very sensitive people and are here for there's not the selfishness within them. And we're all selfish to some degree, but there's not that selfishness within them. It's about what they want to project out, what they're willing to give out. And that's the main reason I feel that the choices were made is because they have been seen to have a quality that they would like to build on or work with.
That sounds true.
And
it really
that's
does.
What makes me feel that's so strange that there's such a tightness within them when it comes to that. So that's what I would look for.
So the job
that is so
or
interesting.
what,
now, did they share? Did they share a birth number or any other?
No.
I know they were both Bettys, but besides that,
well, think in terms of this. B is a 2, and I've just talked about their sensitivity. The E is a 5, but when we look at the first vowel, first consonant, that's a 7. 7 is a very high spiritual number. These young ladies live in their heads a lot. They take in everything, they're aware of everything, but they don't necessarily speak of everything. They're here to be teachers, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I found very fascinating from that standpoint. And what more can you say after you take a look at that element of things? But their key to success for both of them is number 9, which is about the universe and for the world at large.
So their connection to that is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
That's
very much so. Very much so. I find it very fascinating to see how tied to the close ties that they each have, not necessarily together, but have.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating.
Very fascinating. Very fascinating indeed.
Well, Becky, do you think Patricia hit the nail on the head with your mom?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And I mean, even being a teacher, you know what Mom has shown, and trying to find the answers and pull things together so other people can learn and understand, and that will help them. Mom does that, and she works hard at doing that for them.
That's so true.
She doesn't
Fascinating.
miss anything. When people are talking to her, she's like a sponge. She's bringing all of this in. She puts it in reserve, only uses it when she needs to.
Uh-huh.
That is great. Well, we love you, Betty. We hope you're listening, and we just are throwing hugs out right now. You're just such a wonderful person, and everybody should go buy Betty's book.
Definitely.
The Andreasson Affair, written by Raymond Fowler. It was great in 1980, and it's great today. So tell us, Patricia, what can we expect for tomorrow? We have an 11 day coming up.
Well, tomorrow it's all about our creativity, communications of all forms. There's going to be some gossip going on around, and I'm not quite sure where it's coming from, but look for some kind of a secret to be brought out. It may be brought out tomorrow, but it may hit the papers a day or two after. But there's something more coming. There's going to be some gossip coming about it, but there's a lot of scattered energies taking place. And the month itself is garnered by men, and there's a lot of interchange with our leaders or leadership or lack thereof that is ongoing right now. And there's going to be some shake, rattle, and roll coming, I think, for all of us to take another look at. We have not had the end of the gossip yet. And even though we're only 2.5 weeks left in the year, I think the fallout, it's coming, but the fallout may trickle into next year. But it's the scattered energies, everybody's trying to dodge the bullet. They themselves need to put down the guns.
Yes, they do.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Powerful phrase. Yes, yes. Interesting.
But the gossip is going to be extremely interesting when we put the dates in place together, because it's going to be scattered just enough that all of a sudden there'll be that aha moment when it gathers all together.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
I can't wait to hear what this is.
Yeah.
Me either.
too.
Sitting on the edge of my seat here, Patricia. Goodness.
There's a lot taking place that we have not finished yet.
Well,
and people will be put in their place.
Yeah.
Won't that be nice?
Yes.
Overdue, for sure.
Yes, overdue. You're right. You're right.
Oh, goodness. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Patricia. As usual, you're so enlightening and full of great information for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you much. And ladies, enjoy the show. I can't wait to listen to it.
Oh,
thank you.
All right. Thank you again, Patricia Kirkman. And for people who want their own reading, a private reading with Patricia Kirkman, you can reach Patricia via her website, which is patriciakirkman.com. And I guarantee you'll walk away enlightened from that kind of a reading. It is just, she's terrific. So, Becky, are we ready to dive headlong into the alien abduction files?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I know. I've been waiting for this, and we're so excited. So, Denise and Kathleen, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome.
Oh,
hello.
It's great to be with you.
Thank you for coming on the show. As you can tell, this is one of our favorite subjects. And you both have written a phenomenal book. This is a great book, The Alien Abduction Files. It's available on Amazon.com. Everybody can buy their own copy and read it as we have. I couldn't put it down. It was excellent.
It was.
Well, thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. I have questions.
Yes, we all have questions tonight. So let me ask you, ladies, where would you like to start in introducing your stories to the audience?
Kathy, what do you think?
Well, that's usually determined for us.
No, we're going to give you free rein here.
Usually we began by talking about how Denise and I met and how the investigation of her abduction experiences began. So we could begin there if you'd like to.
let's start there. And I also want to mention again that, Kathy, you are the niece of Betty and Barney Hill.
That is correct.
I knew Betty Hill, by the way.
Oh, did you?
I did know Betty, and I thought she was quite a pistol, and I'll never forget the moment when she turned to me and she said, you know, if I had had a frying pan with me, I would have taken them all out.
Oh, my kind of lady.
Yeah.
Well, she tried. You know, when they were taking her onto that craft, she fought. And she gave one of them a good swift kick, and that is how she tore down the hem on her dress and tore the lining from waist to hemline, and that was part of the physical evidence, in addition to the torn zipper and the pink powder that grew on her dress after she put it into her closet.
I remember the dress. I remember seeing pictures of it, but I certainly remember Betty. And she was an absolutely, just as Patricia Kirkman described, lovely lady. She had a spark of fire that I really admired.
She did. And, you know, as Patricia was talking about the numerology, it was a pretty good description of Betty. She was a social worker, but Betty was an educator. She was very well read, highly intelligent, and ahead of her time. And she cared a great deal about the people of the world. She was selfless.
Wonderful. And it's wonderful to talk to you and hear you talk about her in this loving way. Very nice. So you ladies met each other fortuitously. I mean, this was obviously fated. Would you say that you guys came together?
I would say so, absolutely. Denise and I met not long after I moved to Florida, and I've been down here now for 5 years. And I started to attend her meetings. Denise was very much involved with MUFON. She was the chief investigator for the state of Florida. She's now on the abduction research team nationally for MUFON. She was also state section director, and she was holding meetings for the public, and I decided to start going to her meetings. And so she said when I walked in the first time, what did you say, Denise, when you saw me?
Well, I thought several things, and I thought, oh, my gosh, I know who that is. And how am I going to handle this? I was a nervous wreck, really. I thought, what if she doesn't like me? What if she does? This was all going through my mind.
Gosh.
What if I'm not going to handle this correctly? And I just knew that Kathy was just highly educated, and I had read already the various things that had been written, but I didn't even act like I knew her at first. She was a part of the group, she was a part of my meeting, and I just let it all go. And then I went and spoke to her. Of course, we'd been exchanging emails. I just hadn't met her in person, didn't know she was going to show up at one of my meetings. And we began to talk, and then shortly thereafter I thought, there's something about this woman that I feel I can trust. And I'm just going to say, I was taken, and some things happened to me. And then I invited her to my home to have lunch. And we found out we had one thing in common, didn't know it. We both lived in small towns with 2 cross streets in Colorado, and saw probably the same craft on the same afternoon at the same time, and didn't realize it until these many years later.
Incredible.
That was pretty amazing. It was, yeah. And it makes you wonder if it's more than a coincidence, because we also learned that we are both experiencers, and we had not told anyone. I had kept that secret for 48 years until I recently decided to step out of the closet, and Denise had kept that secret as well. What had happened after Denise and I met and got to know each other a little bit she told me about her missing time event that occurred in Colorado, and I decided to start to investigate it. And she told me that she couldn't remember what had occurred. She had seen a hypnotherapist when she lived in Colorado, but he had passed away. She didn't have any of the records from her hypnosis, none of the tapes, nothing. And she didn't remember what she had stated, except for she said something about a black hole. That was all she knew. She didn't know the date, couldn't remember much of anything. So I offered to facilitate her memory because I am a hypnotherapist. And
you
so
do forensic hypnotherapy, correct? It's a little different than traditional hypnotherapy.
Yes, I like to use forensic hypnosis. The reason for that being that is what used to be admissible in a court of law. It is the type of hypnosis where you're pretty certain that you're not leading someone. It's hypnosis without suggesting or asking many questions, so that you're not leading the witness.
Right,
and
so then you have more of a chance of getting real information that hasn't been contaminated by whatever you want them to say, so that it's much more free and clear.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. And then I also had Denise's husband, who was with her at the time of the abduction as well. And I was able to hypnotize him independently of Denise and able to compare their stories and the details of the interior of the craft and their memories of the abduction before it occurred and when they were returned. So that also gave me additional evidence to consider, and I found that their story dovetailed quite well.
And not only that, but she'd been able to speak to my mom to ask her what she recalled, because my parents and a friend were waiting for us. And in 2 years, we had never been late to meet them. We all had a campsite. We actually had trailers and mobile homes on campground. It was actually a ranch. And we'd never been late. Of course, we didn't have cell phones, but they immediately thought we might have been in a car accident, that something happened to us. We always
you were
arrived
hours late. You weren't like 15 minutes late. You were like,
That's
how many hours? 4 hours or something?
It amounted to about 3.
3 hours. It's a long time.
Yes.
And I'm sure they must have been terribly worried about you.
They were. They were walking from their campsite to the ranch house to ask to use the only phone available to call hospitals, police department. And then my dad and our family friend were going to get in the car and start driving the only road we could have been on to see if they could find us. Because that park, the Glacier Park of South Park Valley, was flat. We couldn't have fallen off a cliff at that point unless they had to drive all the way into Denver over the 2 passes, but they still would have been able to sight us had we done that. And just as they got to the ranch house to knock on the door, and we knew the owner, of course, because that's who we were leasing our spots from, they saw headlights coming in the dark and turning onto the dirt road to the ranch, and it was us. And, of course, they asked immediately, where have you been? What's going on? We rolled the window down, and we looked dumbfounded and confused. And my dad worked in aerospace, and so he would accept pretty much anything that was said. And, of course, our answer was, we don't know. Something happened to us. We don't know. We can't remember anything. And along with my dad's friend who worked with my dad at Aerojet General, and they both looked at us like, okay, and started to kind of tease, what kind of mischief were you up to? Nothing,
Right.
And then they they recognized that we were frightened. My mom is the opposite. She has to know everything. What did you do? You've been doing something, and I have a need to know. And she kept at us, and we couldn't tell her. We really didn't know. We only had a certain amount of recall, and I had more than my husband because he was acting like he was in a trance and wouldn't respond to me, and I knew the car lifted off the road and carried us across the desert and saw the lights, and I knew that we'd been taken, but then I had lost the memory of what took us and where I was. And
you had your daughter with you, yes?
Yes, she was sleeping in the back seat, as was our little dog next to us. And whether they were actually sleeping normally or put out by the entities that took us, which was a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they were unharmed. They didn't show any signs of stress or any physical effects, thank God.
No, none. Because the craft was above the car, big lights, because I never saw the actual craft itself, just the lights, and it was odd because they were blinding, but they did not shine down onto the road, nor did they shine inside the car. Yet they were huge. And this is some sort of method or technique they used to lift the car over snow barriers that were on the side of the road that were there to do just that, to stop snow from blowing across the road in the winter and to stop giant tumbleweed from coming across in the middle of the night that would cause accidents, especially for truckers in the dark, that could suddenly blow if the wind would pick up and get really wicked on that Glacier Valley. And we lifted over those wooden barriers and the tires scraped. I remembered them doing that until we lifted, went over those and carried over to the desert, and that's when the craft came over the front of the car and hovered in front of us, and I remembered that.
Was there any sound that you heard? Was there a hum or any kind of a vibration from it? Nothing?
No, not a sound. Mm-mm. No, it was very strange. Everything was very, very quiet. And I kept saying, my husband's name is Ed, and I kept saying, Ed, what's going on? What's going on? Look at it. And his hands were just clenched on the steering wheel, and he was staring with his eyes wide open, straight ahead, and he wouldn't look at me. He wasn't answering. It was like he was in a trance.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it does.
Uh-huh.
Like he was hypnotized by them.
Something. And he didn't really come out of it at first when we found ourselves. We'd gone from one mountain pass to the other, and he always set the odometer. It was not changed. It never changed to show the mileage across that valley that took us about an hour and a half to cross, an hour to an hour and a half. The odometer was the same from one pass to the other. And we were put down when it should have still been daylight, and it was suddenly pitch dark, the headlights were on, and the motor was still running. And then my husband began to turn the wheel, look at me, and we're discussing what's going on, what has happened. I don't understand, and I asked him to pull over, and he did. And I said, could we have been abducted? Because I have had experiences since age 2.5. So that did come into my mind. And he said, no. We both said, no, that's craziness. And I said, well, we better get going. They'll be looking for us. They'll be wondering. And so we drove the other few miles into the campsite.
So there's so many levels to this whole experience. And Becky, you know this better than anybody. I mean, you've got this unexplained intervention in your life, and missing time, missing memory, people worried about you. This is not like you to disappear for this amount of time. And so there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of tension going on. There's a lot of unknowing. And you find yourself back at the campsites, and you can't explain what's happened to you. So how well did you sleep that night?
I didn't, because now we're at a mobile home that we've set up. Of course, we chose not to have electricity. We used propane, and that way if we wanted to sit and look at the stars and, not have anything running like it was back in the city, we could do that. It was beautiful up on the Arkansas River, outside the town. That's our purpose, to get away. This property was backed by BLM federal land, but we had the run of approximately 1,800 acres.
Wow.
They didn't prevent us from walking that, fishing, using that river. It was just absolutely magnificent. But that night was not so magnificent, because once we were off the road, no street lights, no nothing, and only 50 of us on about 120 acres spread out as far as we wanted to. So we really had no neighbors right there, just my parents. So I did wonder, if that happened to us, would they follow us? Would they come and get us again during the night? What about my daughter? What about my mom? All of those types of things.
Yeah, so you really started to worry about
Yes.
what
Is this
could
the
happen.
first time that you've ever seen anything out in that wide open sky, seen anything or questioned anything like something, which had happened to you? Is this the first time? Because you've been going out there for so many years.
In that particular area, yes. From age 2.5, the first time I saw a craft, I thought it was Humpty Dumpty in the sky that had come for me to see. Because that's a child's mind. Well, it's Humpty Dumpty. And then a little figure that I thought was, some people remember the nursery rhymes, some don't, Wee Willie Winkie. He always carried a little light. You can look up the nursery rhyme. Had something in his hand. Well, so didn't this figure. And I thought it was either a flashlight or a tool. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that I realized it was a gray. But he used that device to take me through the wallpaper with him out to a craft.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought nothing of it. That, okay, I'm going to have someone to play with. I thought that's what we were doing. So it progressed until now, until today. And, of course, now I've gotten into research. Kathy and I work together on some things. And it's like we have a terrific need to know and to find out what's going on with people. And they're coming to me and to Kathleen. We're working on different blood types. I want Kathy to explain some hypnosis work she did with me, where I actually saw the core of a ship, and I have been affected physically because I can't get a diagnosis for what went on, and she videoed it. I have a very strange reaction to something that I saw and felt.
So what are your symptoms when you say you're not well from this?
I have, and the doctors will say, do you have Tourette's? Do you have Parkinson's? Do you have a movement disorder of some kind? And I'll say, you tell me. But none of the medication prescribed for these. So you're talking about
there's tremors, or there's some type of involuntary shaking that you experience?
Now, let Kathy describe that, because it doesn't look like any one of those. She describes it best.
So, Kathy, what do you see with Denise when she goes through these episodes?
Is she there?
I see her live on the board. Kathy, are you with us?
Okay, they better not be coming to get Kathy right now. She's supposed to be on the radio.
This happens with us when we have these shows and start telling things.
Yes.
No kidding.
And, people get sick. They've been noticing that abductees have been getting sick, and a pattern of that with, like you said, these things that you've received, or even cancer and other illnesses. And that's very interesting, finding out about the blood type and what happens.
Well, I'd like her to tell that if we can get her back. But
let's see if we can find her again.
Yeah.
Well, let me just ask, Kathy, are you on the air with us? If not, then I may have to ask Rebecca, who's our wonderful call screener, to see if she can give her a call. But her mic's live, and it looks like she's on the board, but something must have happened. So we'll try to find her.
Okay, all right.
In the book, you both talk about chronic fatigue as something that's fairly rampant with abductees. Do you have that also?
Yes, I do. I do, and I'm able to work with it. I've found ways around it, and there are things that you can do, and vitamins and so forth that you can take. But if you don't take care of yourself, and you don't try to get the amount of sleep that you need, and so forth and so on, then it flares up. I have a clotting disorder also that no one can diagnose.
Oh my goodness.
And then I've found many other people that are coming to me saying, I have that, I'm an abductee. And you'll be told it's genetic, and you'll say, all right, genetic where? Go back in my family and you can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just saying that they can't. And when you actually look at the history in your family, it doesn't support that.
No, it doesn't support it. And then you either clot or you bleed out, and they try to balance it, and you don't know which way it's going to hit you.
I think it's experiencing the different frequencies and the different way they move the substance in the air around you so that they can take you through walls and they can float you out, and there's a residue and things that are left behind there that do not go away. And I think our bodies react to that in those ways of going over and over experiencing these things, especially lifetime experiencers. And, I think a lot of that has to do with that because more people are reporting this, of having all these things happen.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And the more people are willing to share, I mean, Kathleen and I had some kind of experience when we had to go to Tampa one day, and I dropped my car off. She picked me up, and we went along in her car. But on the way back, when she dropped me off at my car, I suddenly had, I was wearing an insulin pump at the time. My batteries were dead on that. My cell phone was dead. I couldn't adjust the mirrors on my car. That was dead. The radio in my car was dead. Now, how can those 4 items completely go down?
That's right, because it was changed, and it still lingers there, and it's changed. And we walk and we live in that. And I think it's reacting to our physical bodies.
That, too, and I was abducted on my way home that night.
Oh, see?
My goodness.
They track you. They track you. Yeah. That's what I think, those things that they put, the little tracks inside people, and there's so many different kinds. And even this tall man, I was fascinated by that with the oil can, and you could hear it.
Yes.
Okay. You know what I wanted to say about that?
Hello.
Do you know? Oh, is Kathy back?
Hello.
Hi, Kathleen. Are you back with us?
Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
This is Denise. Is Kathy there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. I have no idea what happened. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's no fun. And, we always do. Denise mentioned this, but it's true. We've also, Becky and I have had this issue when we start talking about the UFO subject in general. It seems like there's an awful lot of people interested that don't want to come out of the shadows, but they interfere with what we're doing. We don't like that. So glad to have you back.
Yes. Well, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, we wanted you to tell about what you saw when you were videoing and asking about the core of the ship and my reaction.
Oh, yes. Well, Denise was in hypnosis, and she was taken on a tour of the interior of the craft. And she was telling me how she sensed that this interior core was biological in some way or biomechanical. She had an emotional response to it, a very strong emotional response where she felt very bad for it. But then she explained that it had its job, it had its purpose, that it had volunteered for this position, and that she shouldn't feel bad for it. So she's inside this environment. She's describing this. She's seeing red and sort of black flowing through the floor underneath her. And she's on kind of a catwalk kind of thing above the floor. And the environment inside this room is very, very strange. It's almost as if she's inside of a beating heart. And then, all of a sudden, she started having a physiological reaction where it was as if she was being hit by a force field. And by, all I can think of is, say I had 25 beanbags, and I'm throwing them in rapid succession, one after another, and hitting different parts of Denise's body. And that part of the body would fly out momentarily. It was that kind of thing that Denise was going through.
And did this only
very,
happen?
Very interesting.
Did this only happen when Denise was under hypnosis?
Yes.
Not anymore. It's there permanently.
When she was under hypnosis, reliving that experience on the craft.
And now it's there. I can feel it. Let's put it that way. And if I relax all my joints and muscles, my body will start to do that particular action.
And do you have any sense, Denise, as to what this is? It must be very uncomfortable for you.
Yeah, it is. No, it was something in that environment, in that room, in that core, because it felt like that place was alive. And that I was a part of. It was as if if you could enter someone's heart, that's what it felt like.
So it wanted to mesh with you.
Yeah, you were beating with the heart. You were living with whatever that was, and you had to move with it. It was just a part of that system that I felt, and it affected me somehow that I brought a part of it back.
Well, it's interesting too, because Becky and I have talked to many former military people, and some of them have talked to us privately about the fact that they know these ships are alive. They're not just the technology. So you're kind of supporting what they told us. Same thing.
And I felt like Kathy said, sorry for it, emotional. And yet they said there were many of them out there, and they could all communicate with each other. And every one of them knew where the others were at any given time. They shared the center core, and I think it was larger than what they were. It's almost like they were pods and a part and parcel to what was larger than they were yet.
Now, do you feel that you're a descendant in some ways from them, and that's why they come for you?
I don't know. That's a question I can't answer yet. I have to wonder. I've gotten some information that I'm going to share with Kathy on Saturday, and I had to get permission from the gentleman that has had me. It's too much for me to carry, and I was told I could not share it under no circumstances could I give it out. And I finally said, "Look, I can't do this to this person. You shouldn't have told me what you did." And I don't know why. It could be that it's just affecting me this way. But I now have permission to tell Kathy, and perhaps if I do, he'll allow me to tell others. And it has to do with who we are and why we are, and the greater universe, if we want to call it a God or the bigger spirit, and how it all works. I had not heard it before, and it makes sense. And so if that's the case, then we're all a part of more than what we think we are.
Oh, yes. I believe we are a part of more than what people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's a center portion to it that I was told that I had not even begun to think of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we're all sitting here on pins and needles, Denise. So you realize, of course, that once you've discussed this with Kathy, then you're going to have to come back on the show.
Yes.
And tell us and our listeners, we do hope you will. It sounds monumental what you have to say. So we're going to wait for this.
Well,
we're not going
Kathy's
to
my
get you off the hook
mentor.
on it either.
Oh, all right. Well, Kathy's my mentor and my very dear friend, and I have always asked permission of people I work with to pass things by her, and boy, she is just as blunt as she has to be to, if she has to hammer something into me to say, now wait a minute, let's take a look at this way. And so I'm so glad to have her to do that with.
Yeah, well, it's so lucky you guys have each other, you girls, and it's a wonderful and supportive relationship that helps to bring these things out of the shadows.
It is, and this relationship grew out of my investigation of her case. So I want to make it clear that we weren't good friends during this investigation. It was an unbiased and objective kind of investigation, but over time we became very good friends and began to work together.
And it took a while. Matter of fact, I would say it wasn't until a while after the book was published that the friendship grew out of that.
Yeah.
No kidding. Wow.
And so, I have to say that Denise helped me too, because my experiences began probably back in 1966 is the earliest I could remember. And I had a lot of conscious recall, but I also carried a lot of trauma, difficulty sleeping at night, and it was something that I really needed to work through. And Denise helped me to work through that. So I was very grateful to her for helping me in that way.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up
I'm a forensic hypnotist also, so I can use some of that. Even if we don't use the hypnosis, you can or can't, and help someone work through some of that trauma.
Well, you're bringing up an important question, and actually I'm going to ask you this because it just came from the chat room and it's right on target. How do you go, here's the question, how do you go about your daily lives knowing that something came and got you?
Kathy, you want to go first?
Oh, boy. For many, many years it wasn't easy because it's the first thing you think of when you wake up in the morning, and it's the last thing you think of when you go to bed at night. And it was so difficult to keep it a secret, to not tell anybody except for a couple of people within the family. And it was years and years ago investigated, too, under a condition of confidentiality. I don't even know if a report was ever written on it because it was so highly confidential, because I'm Betty Hill's niece.
Right.
But, boy, it was difficult for many, many years, but I did go on, and I led a normal life. I began as a social worker. I was a teacher and education services coordinator. I raised children, but I think that it was my own experiences that were really the driving force behind my decision to investigate my aunt and uncle's case and to write the book Captured, the Betty and Barney Hill UFO experience, and then to go on and really become an abduction researcher in a very broad sense.
So having this knowledge and also being able to talk to other abductees, it sounds like it gave you some sense of peace and some sense of grounding so that you weren't as afraid as you were before. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it did give me, with knowledge comes power. And it gave me a tremendous amount of knowledge about what this is all about. And I'm continuing to learn. We're all students. None of us know all of the answers. And but it was through the acquisition of that knowledge that I was able to lose my fear. And also because of Denise's hypnosis with me and working through this and having a word that I can say to myself. So if I am going to be taken, and I haven't been in a couple of years, but if I am going to be, I can say that word and I will immediately go into a hypnotic trance and be able to give myself suggestions to be calm, to relax, and just to let it happen instead of going through that period of absolute shock and fear.
Well, so that's great. I mean, it's wonderful that, again, through your friendship and through you both being talented hypnotists, you're able to really help each other to bring these things forward from the unconscious layers of your psyche, to bring them out so you can work with them and they don't have power over you anymore. But both of you have been stalked. I mean, this is not one abduction. This is over and over and over again. And these entities, these aliens or whatever you want to call them, they clearly have the upper hand. They can come in and out as they please. They can take you as they please. There's nothing to stop them.
That is correct. Yes. That is correct. And
that's why people are asking in the chat room about how do you deal with that level of fear, that they can come and get you at any time and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, you can't focus upon that part of it. You have to have a healthy attitude. If you focused upon that part of it and you focused upon the fear, how could you possibly go on with your everyday life?
That's
you have
right.
to set that part aside. And something that I learned in my hypnosis sessions was that how reassuring and kind they were, how they reassured me that they thought of me as part of their family, that they loved me, that they would never harm me, that they were there.
That's true. I grew up that way. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought they were my family, actually.
Yes, and when you have that attitude, you think of it as okay, you're visiting with your family,
right?
In a sense that this is no longer you're the victim of someone who is perpetrating a harmful act upon you. This is more a visitation.
Yeah, that's true. And they bring you back, and there are times when they do need to use you for something. We're not quite sure what yet, the reasoning behind it. But if they cause pain, if you stop and think about it, there are times when a hand is placed on your forehead or something is done, and that pain is alleviated. It's gone. And it's a soothing type of touch. They know how to do that. So if they didn't care at all, why would they do that?
That's right. And a lot of abductees have had the gift of healing afterwards.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
and then
absolutely.
Also because of them being there and the residuals and everything that is left over because they've been in and out of certain places, I was so happy to hear you put this in your book that paranormal activity starts in people's homes, in their cars, in certain spots that they go to back and forth a lot, like ghosts and spirits and sounds and, You know, even myself with orbs, I was inundated with orbs, thousands upon thousands of orbs, and I've got them on my website. But pictures of that right around my home. And these things show up because there's an opening now. There's a different opening than what was settled before in a natural nature of things. It's been opened.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know, when I was a teenager, my Aunt Betty Hill was doing contact experiments. These were scientific experiments in order to try to call in a UFO and have it land on my grandparents' farm. And a craft did come in. And it did land. I grew up across the street from my grandparents. The craft landed within 500 feet of my childhood home. It was seen by my grandparents. It was seen by a commercial pilot who was a neighbor on his way home from work. It was after that we started for the first time to have paranormal activity in my childhood home. We had these things that would fly off the shelves. We had these light orbs that seemed to be intelligently controlled that would move around the house. We didn't know how to explain it back then. It was only when Denise and I did our commonality study in 2012, and that study is in the alien abduction files. But it was only then that I fully realized the source of all of this, these things that suddenly started to happen in my childhood home. It was because the ETs had come and taken my mother and taken myself.
Right.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's fascinating. Go ahead.
It is. We have so many questions. We have questions pouring in from the chat room. We're going to take a very short commercial break, so stay tuned, everybody. And I just also want to mention we lost you, Becky, also for a couple of minutes there.
There was a high-pitched gurgling noise, and then all of a sudden, click, it was hung up.
Goodness.
So, yeah, I guess you ladies brought some interesting energy with you tonight. So stay tuned, everybody. We will be right back.
Raskin, founder of the Organic Wine Company. As one of the pioneers of the organic wine movement, since 1980 I have brought you the very best and most authentic organic wines directly to your table. I work with small family estates who grow certified organic grapes and produce exceptional wines. You can purchase our wines individually from our website at theorganicwinecompany.com or join one of our wine clubs. Our organic wines are perfect for you and for your family as gifts for friends and relatives, and they are simply spectacular for the holidays. Visit us at theorganicwinecompany.com to enjoy the very best organic wines conveniently delivered to your door. I am Veronique Raskin, passionate about my mission. I offer to you vegan, organic, and biodynamic wines, wines made by people of the heart, wines with a heart. Au revoir. Call us at 1-888-ECO-WINE.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With Cosmic Fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.kosmicfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We are having an incredibly fun and also informative discussion tonight about the alien abduction files with authors Denise and Kathleen and my co-host, an abductee herself, Becky Andreasson. So, oh my goodness, Becky, I don't want the show to end. It's just too much fun.
I know. I know. It's wonderful.
We're going to have you guys back for sure. I mean, there's just no getting around it. You just have so much wonderful information. You've lived this. You've researched it thoroughly. You've empowered yourselves in a very difficult, very sticky situation. You found a way to come back to a level of understanding and peace. I mean, I have to congratulate you both. It's not easy. This is a tough thing.
Thank you.
Yes,
and
it is.
You're right. It is tough. It is a tough thing. And, I just wish that we could find a way for every experiencer to be able to find this peace and tranquility and acceptance, because I don't know of any way to make it stop. And, the funny thing is, people will complain to me about the experiences they're going through, and I'll say, well, if you could make this stop, would you? And everyone has said no. They would.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a surprise.
I'm shocked. I'm
sure that there are some people who would like to make it stop, but the people that I've spoken with about it have told me no.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm finding that also, and if someone asked me, I would give you the same response.
And you've had so many experiences, even with possibly being pregnant and then having them take the baby, or you lost the baby. I mean, it's kind of unclear as to what happened, but there's all of that, and you didn't feel invaded by that, or did you?
Up to a certain point, I would have to say that I felt invaded until I had a miscarriage, and I had that here on Earth in Colorado, and I knew that I was pregnant, and then I felt that the crampy feeling of I'm possibly going to miscarry, and we were going on a picnic up in the mountains, And it was cold because it was already setting in for winter, but we went, and I thought, well, maybe I'll feel better. And I went into an outhouse at the foot of the hill where we were going to the picnic table area. My husband and relative carried everything up to the top to get everything ready to eat. And I went into the outhouse, and I miscarried. And it was just a situation where when I was ready to come out, I turned and looked, and I must have gone into shock at what I saw. I've drawn it for Kathy, and I absolutely miscarried an alien child. The fetus was there. And I walked up the top of the hill. The pain was gone, and I immediately stopped any problems. There was no more cramping, and there was no bleeding. It was just done. So I went back to the top of the hill, and I found my husband and our relative, everybody standing stock still in that starry gaze where I couldn't have gotten their attention if I had to, and there was a craft. There was no one up there. And my guide, my escort, the gray that I've always known, stepped out of the trees and said, we need to go. And it was a beam, kind of, that came down, and then a glob of odd-looking stuff. I'm going to describe it, and you'll laugh. It looked like a huge mass of frog's eggs with little black dots in them.
Oh, my.
And he asked me to step into it. And it's happened more than once, but when I stepped in, my whole being completely came apart. I wasn't me, but I could feel all of the parts and pieces and the atoms and the molecules ripped to shreds inside this mass. I could feel my escort with me, and I knew that we would not fit into the entrance of this craft, and that possibly was why they had me do this. And then I found myself inside the craft, and that's where I was shown jars of fetuses, and they said, we're going to have to fix this. Not out loud, it was just passed to me mentally, and one of the vessels had a fairly well-developed fetus inside, and I just feel like I need to use the term and quickening. When I stepped up to it, there was a quickening, and the fetus in the vessel kind of shuddered, opened its eyes, and looked at me, and I knew that was mine. It had been mine at some point and was growing. And from that point on, I never felt invaded again. And then a comment was made, and I can't figure this out. I need to find other people that might have heard this before. I've told Kathy that I was told that when there is a mistake and you carry this child to term, if there's something wrong, we get to keep them and raise them. And that's pretty much a quote. So who are they? How many are here on Earth? I don't know. I was not shown what they look like or how many there are. I have no other information.
Oh, my goodness me. What an experience you've had. I mean, both of you. But, excuse me, this is just remarkable. Now, I have to ask you both about government involvement, because not only are you both the focus of alien, let's call it intervention to be polite about it, alien intervention, so they come, they collect you, they bring you back. If you're in pain from any of their experiments, they make the pain stop. But now there's another level of this, which is the government. Now, have you had any experiences with the government tapping your phones or following you or anything like that?
I have, yes. Kathy, have you?
Well, I can say that there is evidence of someone listening in on the phones, particularly during radio interviews.
Yes,
and interference with radio interviews far too often for it to be simply coincidence or bad weather or something going down at the radio station. I have tracked it and recorded it on a record. So I'm quite sure that something is going on there. So I'm quite careful about what I say and what I reveal. In terms of being followed, I'm not very observant about my environment. If I were followed, I would have no idea I was being followed. So I really don't know. I have not had helicopters hovering over my house the way that some experiencers have either. So, my computer gets attacked from time to time. I've had problems with that. A number of researchers and experiencers have had these kinds of problems.
Right.
But that's about it. An occasional threatening situation with someone who might be from the military. That's it for me. How about you, Denise? I know you've had far more than I have.
Yeah, I have. I had a situation in my house where I was being a part of, how would I term this? Selected to be part of a test to see what was going on in my home, as far as how many times I might be taken, et cetera, and I am pretty sure that a military individual collected that evidence, and I've never received the results. That has been a few years. Now, I also had 2 episodes with Men in Black, one advising me not to disclose what I saw. Another was something very recently, and I discussed that with Nick Redfern. He and I have gone back and forth. Yes, I let someone in my home, which I never do. I just got right up out of bed, went to the door, opened it, and let someone in without looking. And I have monitors.
Gracious.
Now,
and
what
he said
in the
world were you doing?
Well, that's a good question. I just did it involuntarily. Opened the door, and he said he was there to check my smoke alarms. And yet he didn't know what they were because he pointed right at one in the ceiling and said, "What is that?"
Now, is this someone, did he look normal, or was he like a Men in Black type? Pale skin and dark?
They've changed. His skin was pasty, wasn't quite normal, but his dress was not the black suit. I've seen the ones in the black suits, but I've been told too. I called Nick and he said yes, they have changed. And when he got to the end of my hall, and I realized he didn't know what the smoke alarms were, he turned around and couldn't get out of the house fast enough. He was walking oddly. His gait was strange. Opened the door, let him out. I have a large window right next to the front door. And as soon as I shut the door on him and locked it, I lifted the drape so I could see, and he was gone. And there was nowhere he could have gone without me seeing. I could look left.
He didn't get into a car and drive away because you would have heard that.
No, I recognize all of us where I am, all of my neighbors know each other's cars, and there were no strange vehicles. He couldn't have gotten in one and driven away that fast. I could reach the window with one arm and the door with the other. They're that close. So I called the police. They came out. I explained who he was and what he looked like, and 2 policemen came. One stayed in the house. The other one went right to the fire department, and no one had been sent out to check our fire alarms, our smoke alarms. And he couldn't identify anyone that I described. So I know who it was. I really did. It was just kind of a warning. And then 2 weeks later, 2 women came to the door, and I've used a forensic artist to draw her. I'm going to be showing her at a meeting I'm having and speaking this Saturday. So she's going to be introduced. People are going to see what the women in black look like. And they're very odd.
Women in black. This is news to me. Women in black, too?
They're being recorded now, yes.
Is
they
this
look
something
very
new?
different. Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Do you think they're hybrids from the breeding program?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were.
I'll be putting them out on my website. The artist drew one specifically for me. I described her, and he has got it absolutely perfect.
Now, please tell everybody your website so they can go and look at these drawings. And I know, Kathy, you have a website too, so I'd like both you to announce both of them so people can have access there.
All right. Mine is Denise, M as in Margaret, Stoner.com.
And mine is Kathleen with a K, Marden, MARDEN.com. I have several articles that I've written posted on my website, and you can go to either of our websites to purchase autographed copies of our books.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so it's DeniseMStoner.com and Kathleen with a K Marden.com.
That's correct.
And we loved your book, didn't we, Becky? I mean, this
yes.
It's
very
well
good
written.
information.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Yes, I'm very interested in this tall man here with the oil can, though. What I wanted to tell you earlier is when they put the liquid in the ear, you know how scientists have the experiments today where they can have voice or music and it can make the liquid move into patterns, or voice sounds, or, sands can move. I think they use that instead of something solid for quick information. So that was put in the ear so you could hear the speaking of what was told to you.
That's
an
interesting
good thought.
Yes, because they have it today, even scientifically proven. So instead of something solid, which would take longer, they used the liquid and then spoke at a certain frequency, and it moved so you could hear it within your ear.
Very, very interesting. Very good thought. Yes. Yeah, I like that. Anybody that can come up with anything like that, or feels that, hey, I just thought of something, you don't know where you got that information from, but it can be rock solid and have meaning that's factual, and I'm glad you said that.
Yes, and biologically it would work a lot smoother with a biological host, than something hard. I mean, we have trackers and we have those things put in us where they can talk to us and they can track us and everything. But for quick moments of speaking or wanting something said or done, doing it that way, it sounds absolutely possible. I mean, even experiments today, they do it. So when I read that, I instantly thought of that, and I was thinking that I bet that is exactly what it is. That's what they're using.
They're so sharp and so highly technological, and I'm hoping that once I go over with Kathy what I've been told and get her opinion and thoughts on it, I can tell others, because something's going on that we're a part of it's amazing, but it would change so much of what we know. If we're able to straighten out some of what we do and begin to behave ourselves as far as how we care for each other and for the planet.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely.
Do you experience the aliens that you've had contact with as almost a hive mentality, or do you experience them as actual individuals, or a combination of the both?
They are separate entities from what I can see, but if what I've discovered is possible for them to be combination energies.
Because I often wonder that's what we're supposed to be ascribing to. That's what we're supposed to be attempting to do, is preserve some individuality. This is who I am, but yet have that connection to the whole. So it just seems to me like that's what part of the lesson is here. I don't think we're getting the lesson when you look at the world today.
I believe that they have. I was just going to say, I believe that they have a collective consciousness But at the same time, they have free will. They can behave independently. They can. They have told me that in the jobs that they do on the craft, they are really not in charge. They are working for a higher power or a higher company or whatever you want to call it. So they're not making decisions independently, but they do appear to be able to make decisions on their own individually.
Mm-hmm. And that all makes so much sense. And
absolutely, higher power.
And we have some people on Earth that, you know, have minds that are so close to that type of thing. I went to see the movie today about Stephen Hawking.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
that was good.
Oh, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, the actor deserves an award or several. But to see those minds the way they were displayed on the screen and to know what we have and the abilities that are out there, and then if you think that these entities that are taking us and what they could teach us if they knew that we could treat it right would be just astounding.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's a good point that you bring up also. Because what's their end game? They're bringing you aboard the ship. They're doing a breeding program that we know for certain. They're doing experiments to test us for who knows what. But what's their end game? Do you guys know? Why are they doing this?
I don't know. Kathy, do you have any ideas?
I don't know, for certain what their end game is, but they have told me that they're very concerned about human DNA sequences and that they're concerned that something is threatening our species, and it could, if we're not careful, lead to the disintegration of our species due to changes in the DNA structure that is being caused environmentally, and that they, without really interfering, are attempting to propagate our species while they study us. So, I don't know how far it goes beyond that. That's the information that they imparted to me.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, it makes sense that they are studying us.
It does.
That
yeah,
makes
it does.
Sense.
And are they trying to raise our vibrational order?
I think so.
To bring us to a higher level, to show us what's available to us if we allow this to happen, and to grow along with what Kathy said. I think so.
I suspect that as well, based upon my research.
Mhm.
Well, I always wonder why they don't do more to help. But then, of course, I always hear this about this non-interference, kind of like they used to have on Star Trek. Don't interfere with the primitives. They have to find their own way, So, I don't know. It just would be nice if there was more of an exchange of skills and gifts that the people that they were experimenting on, like you both, and also you, Becky, that come back here and they have the gift of healing. As you mentioned, Becky, in the book, some of these people did come back with the gift of healing. And instead of the gift of illness. So,
well, even healing with illness.
It's no fun. So, yeah.
Even that healing within the person that is in and out of this, experiencing this all the time, and getting these horrendous type, diseases and different things, even that healing being installed within them, along with their brothers and sisters of humanity, sending out their gift of healing and their prayers up into the heavenly realms, which are heard. And I mean, it just works. I'm living proof of it. It works.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You're right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is fascinating topic. Now, I have more questions. These people from the chat room are going to be mad at me if I don't ask them. Here's a question for you both. Can people be abducted and never know? Or do they always find out at some point? That's a question for you.
Well, that's a question that I really can't answer. I don't know. I mean, if you never know and no one ever knows, how do you know?
I know. It's a bit of a conundrum. And I would think if you have been abducted at some point, these memories are going to start to peek through, because it seems like that's what happens. That, for example, Betty and Barney, your aunt and uncle, didn't they have nightmares that they couldn't explain?
Well, first of all, let me say that Betty and Barney had clear conscious recall of close encounter with a UFO, and Barney of observing non-human entities aboard that craft. It hovered only 100 feet above their vehicle. There was all kinds of memories and evidence. They also had that piece of missing time, 2 hours of missing time. And then Betty had 5 dreams. Barney did not. Betty had 5 dreams. They happened 5 nights in a row. They were not in sequential order. They were very, very vivid, and they happened just before she woke up in the morning. And, so there was a lot in their case to cause them to believe that more than just a close encounter and the observation of non-humans occurred.
Now, I have a question for you about the star map that Betty brought forward. Was that something that came out during one of her hypnosis sessions, or was that a conscious recall experience?
The star map came out under one of her hypnosis sessions. She also spoke about it as being part of one of her dreams. But under hypnosis, she remembered it differently than what she recalled in her dream. In her dream, it was like a classroom, old paper map that you think of that you pull down like a shade. In her dream, it appeared as almost like a three-dimensional holographic image. Dr. Simon gave Betty the post-hypnotic suggestion that if she could remember this accurately and it didn't bother her too much, that she could go home and draw that star map. And over the next couple of weeks, she thought about it, and then she sat down and almost like in automatic writing, she drew that star map. It was published in the first book that was ever written about their case, The Interrupted Journey by John G. Fuller, that was published in 1966. And Marjorie Fish, who was a brilliant woman from Ohio, a member of Mensa and a teacher there, decided to do some research on the star map to see if she could identify it. And she started to build three-dimensional models using monofilament line and beads of different sizes and colors. She had to go to the State University and go to the astronomy department and get her distance data from the catalogs that they had there. Remember, we didn't have photocopying machines back then. She wasn't able to check them out and take them home. So she had to write all of that down, take it home, and then she had to do the math in order to determine the precise location where every one of those stars would be in each model. Just imagine the work. She thought she would find a match right away. She made 26 models and still hadn't found a match until 1972, when a new catalog was released. It had different distance data, and she put that in to her model. She changed the location of those stars to fit the new information, and she had a perfect match, Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2.
Just incredible. That is such an incredible piece of information that Betty brought forward from that experience, and so accurate, and long before anybody knew it was there in that place. She had identified it.
Yes.
Just remarkable.
Isn't that amazing?
More conscious interactions with the beings. I mean, I know she told me she talked to them, and they talked to her and telepathically. But she was pretty clear about her communications with them and theirs with her.
Yes, she was pretty clear about the interaction that she had with them on the craft. That was all recovered through hypnosis, but some of it was part of her dream material too. She saw symbols on that craft. In the year 2000, I asked her to sketch those symbols from memory. I kept them in a locked drawer for several years. They were published in Captured, the Betty and Barney Hill UFO experience, and Dr. Don Derry from the from McGill University got in touch with me. He had done a symbol study with several of Bud Hopkins' abductees, and also with groups of graduate students. And what he discovered was, in the end, Betty's symbols were nearly identical to the symbols that he had collected from Bud Hopkins' experiencers.
No kidding. My goodness. Wow, there's just so much to be learned from all of this, and it's wonderful that you're meeting with more abductees that are coming forth to you both with their stories and their experiences, and that you're learning so much more. I can see why the government wants to keep tabs on you. You probably know more than they do.
Did she ever find out what that pink powder was?
It has highly unusual properties. No one has ever been able to identify it. No one has been able to produce it on fabric to get that particular effect.
My mom,
it's still a mystery.
Well, my mom and my stepdad Bob and myself have had different things that have happened and visitations at times, and we were covered in our bedding, in our towels when we went in to take a shower, in our, the washcloths, in our clothing with this bubblegum pink powdery stuff that absorbed right into the material. And when we threw it in the wash machine, it was still there. I have a pillowcase with it on it still to this day, because I was told next time it happens, don't throw it away. And I do have a pillowcase with it on. And this has happened many and many of times to us. And my feeling I got was it's something that they had sprayed or put on us when we entered or left after an abduction, something that was done. But I'm not sure. But it's hot pink, and it was all over everything. And you wouldn't see it half the time until you threw it in the wash machine and washed your clothes, and there it was. I mean, super bright bubblegum pink. So, and I've actually got it still.
If this ever occurs again, please don't wash it. Don't do anything to it. If you can see it, cut off a piece of that sample, send it to me, and I will send it to an analytical chemist.
Wonderful.
Who did the analysis on Betty's dress, did the analysis on another abduction that I've been investigating, where the experiencer also had this pink discoloration.
Yes, we've had it happen many of times to us.
So if it happens
and
again,
it's amazing.
Who knows? You might be able to match it up.
Yeah, and find out exactly what it is and why.
Oh my
goodness. It's good to have fresh samples.
Yes, that's right.
We're trying very hard to get people to send in samples and send them to Kathy, send them to me, I'll get them to her. Anybody out there that's listening that's willing to do that.
Let me just interject a minute, though. Not every sample can be analyzed. There is just a limited amount of funding. It has to be approved by MUFON, and so if you send me all of your samples, don't get mad if they're not not analyzed, because this can be done on a very, very limited basis.
And people should contact you through your websites, right? You have contact information there.
Yes.
Okay, and your websites again are DeniseMStoner.com and Kathleen with a K Marden, MARDEN.com. And the book is The Alien Abduction Files. You guys got to run out and get it. It is a great book. It will keep you up at night. It'll give you some things to think about, some questions to ask. Abductions are real, everybody. Alien abductions happen, and it's about time we heard the truth from our own government, but don't hold your breath. But right here on Supernatural Girls, you'll get the truth. So thank you so much. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Becky. This has been a terrific evening.
Thank you all.
We're going to have you girls
for
back.
having us on.
There's no question. Well, good. Well, it's our pleasure. Mm-hmm. It's been wonderful. And next week, we are going to be talking about the Akashic Records. So who's been naughty, who's been nice? It's the perfect time of year to discuss this.
Gee whiz. Uh-oh.
That's right. Well, look, again, many thanks to all of you, to all of our guests, to everybody in the audience. And we wish you the best this coming week. And just be sure to tune in. Next week's going to be another exciting show.
Yes, thank you, girls.
Thank you for having us.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with